welcome to another edition of the Sportsport. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome.
Welcome back.
Another edition of
The Sportsport, dude.
Here on a Monogamy Monday, it's Barnes and it's Tony. What's going on over there, Tony?
Not much, dude. There it is, dude.
What was going on? Like, no one could hear me before? Or?
I guess not, dude. That was kind of crazy.
All right, well, welcome.
Welcome,
edition
dude.
Of the Sportsport. Monday morning, the rain, some losses over the weekend. What are you going to do? Other than that, how are you, Tony?
Great, dude. You know, like you said, a couple of losses, whatever. Rain coming up, big weekend for big week for the rain, I guess you could say. But honestly, I'm kind of happy for the rain, dude. Yeah. Allergies kicking my ass all weekend. Rain, wash the pollen away, dude. Hopefully the pollen count could go down a little bit, and then, maybe I'm feeling all right.
So, I mean, quite the struggle this weekend. Pink eyes and sneezing like crazy, unlimited tissues.
Literally, dude, like the congestion, the nasal, you feel it in the eye. The pressure, dude, you feel up here in the sinuses. Absolutely brutal.
Yeah,
absolutely
Sam,
brutal.
Sam actually had the same thing.
Really?
The other day, yeah.
It sucks, dude. There's nothing you can even do about it. Dude.
Fortunately for me, it's just been like some sneezing, but nothing crazy. But it's definitely tough this time of year. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I mean the only thing you do is just wait it out, dude. Batten down the hatches.
Yeah, but we'll get there one way or another.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot to talk about. Obviously was at the stadium a couple times over the weekend.
Dude.
Great on Friday, yesterday. Just not enough, but yet great to be there nevertheless. And then of course, Scottie with the dominant win. You got the Knicks game 1 in Boston tonight, and game 7 in the NHL last night.
That's right.
So a lot to get to, but let's talk about late night Applebee's and contact and right. I mean, wouldn't that be fun?
Why not, dude? Michael Buckta, happy Cinco de Mayo to you too, Michael. Was having late night contact with Ernie at 12:53 a.m. last night. It's getting later and later, dude. Once again, Ernie, you're the best man a girl can have. He says also this weekend, quite the contact with Josh B and Ernie in the chat. I made also some late night contact too. Friday and Saturday. Michael Buckta, obviously pretty hyped, dude. Also went to Applebee's twice this weekend.
Kind of hilarious. Me and Matt were walking back from Enzo's last night. Some Yankee fans in Applebee's. The Applebee's in the Bronx.
I remember that.
But, I could see locally, but people coming, out of town, I question, going to Applebee's. But I know Michael Buckta will, give me the third degree about that.
Yeah, you know that. And then he also says, shout out to his dad. His dad's birthday is today. So happy birthday, Mr. Buckta.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mr. Buckta.
How about that,
dude? Go to Mile to everybody.
Yes,
and as Tony would tell you, have some fajitas, have your margaritas.
And
you've
then,
had good fajitas. I know you have. I know you've had where you're like, wow, these are actually real good. If you could put aside that you have to dress it up.
I guess so. I mean,
some good steak.
It's
right?
it's kind of funny, honestly. To I guess talk about Applebee's. Like they used to, the sizzling fajitas, dude.
Yes,
I remember.
No, I used to get those. Literally, I used to get those, Michael. But you know what it is? Because I feel like you like all the things that are part of a fajita, right? Like good steak,
right?
Good onions and peppers, right? Some quality flour tortillas, or no?
Oh no, of course. But it's just like for me, it's just like
the
just,
guac.
Like, no.
Josh B said it.
No, thank you, dude. The guac. No, thank you, dude. But it's just like, just make a taco then, or make it a burrito and just give it to me. I don't need the whole. I don't need all that.
I think I like fajitas over the.
Michael Buckta.
Happy Cinco for 60.
Father's birthday. Hold on, stand by, Michael. Interesting, dude. Hold on, pushing you through the Bluetooth, dude. Dude, I think it's just one of those Mondays right now.
Wow.
Hold on, wait a minute. Michael, you're live on the Sportsport.
All right.
All right. Wow, coming out. What do you got, dude? Hola.
60.
How are we?
Happy Cinco.
Good.
We're great. We're great.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
The AirPods,
Barnes.
the hallway. What do we got, Michael?
Barnes, so just one thing to start off with. You are next on my list for a late night contact.
On the list, dude.
Michael, I would say
You're on the list.
Last night I was sleeping before 10 o'clock. I'm not your late night contact guy. I gotta get sleep. Sorry, bud. Sorry.
Why?
I mean, listen, you'll realize it once you're older. It's not funny to stay up late. Tony will tell you. Unless it's unless he's at the Horseshoe and it's Thursday night. Other than that, during the week, it's just not your friends.
Oh man, I do it all the time though.
It'll catch up to him, right, Tony?
Yes, it will catch up to you. It will.
Also, who would we got winning the Warriors and the Wolves series?
It's interesting. Warriors kind of looked like shit until
I know
yesterday.
they kind of did, dude.
Yeah, they didn't look good.
But I think I would. I know you're not gonna like it, but I think I would go Warriors. Honestly, championship pedigree.
Wait, why?
Kerr.
Wait, why?
I mean, I just told you.
Wait, why are you going State?
I just said it, Michael.
Well, I mean, don't forget the Timberwolves do have a fairly young team, and they looked good in the first round.
They look good, dude.
Right,
With
but
Ant.
I mean, I think the Lakers kind of made it a little easier than it needed to be. I think for them.
I mean,
No, I think so, dude.
I mean,
Unfortunately,
at the end of the day, the Warriors are just old.
Yeah,
Just old blocks.
I mean, it just comes down
They're
to
old.
Curry and Butler, playing their game.
Yeah, I think
Maybe
you're right.
Draymond throwing a couple
you're right.
haymakers. So,
Yeah.
we'll have to see.
yeah, dude.
How are you celebrating? Cinco de Mayo? A couple late night margaritas with Josh B and Ernie, or what do we got?
Mark's on
Maybe,
good,
yeah,
dude.
Maybe go to the bar and go hit up Josh and Ernie and talk to them about late night contact and their late night combos and their late night group chat I made on a Facebook, Barnes.
Yeah, no, that's
Something
great.
like that, right?
Yeah, no, it feels like I don't know.
Also,
Wind tunnel?
Wind tunnel, but
Ernie.
also I don't know if it's the Wi-Fi or might be the Wi-Fi.
Also, Barnes.
Yes.
Where is Ernie? Where is he?
He's in
Where
the
is he?
comments. He's in the comments.
He is in the comments, Michael. Michael,
What's he saying?
He said, "Yeah." But we got a lot to get to, Michael. But I just wanted to ask you though before we let you go.
Yeah.
Favorite Mexican food thing to eat? Given that it's Cinco de Mayo.
A beef enchilada.
Beef
in,
enchilada. I've never had an enchilada.
In Newport Beach.
In Newport Beach at Javier's.
Yeah, my family.
Yeah, there you go.
No, it's called El Matador.
El Matador.
Javier's, buddy.
El Matador. Yes.
Not
I haven't gone to that one, but Javier's is really good. I would recommend it.
I'll go there one day. I'll hit there one day.
But and then also bonus on the way out here. Knicks or Celtics tonight. What's the margin? What do we got?
Barnes, I hate to say it, but the Knicks barely beat a Pistons team, and I don't see them beating the Celtics as much as it sucks.
I respect the growth out of you, Michael, because I feel like last year it would have been Tatum.
No, Barnes, no.
But I mean, hard to blame you there. Hard to blame you, Michael. But good to hear from you as always.
Wait. Also, just one more thing to point out. I just want to give a special shout out to Ernie and his incredible wife for our late night contact. Boom.
All right.
Boom. Thanks a lot,
Michael.
Buckta. Have a great day, man.
All right,
Peace
guys,
out.
bye.
All right. The great Michael Buckta.
The one, the only Michael Buckta, dude.
And even though
the morning dose.
it wasn't great this weekend. Great Michael Buckta.
The one, the
let's
only
go.
Michael Buckta, dude.
Let's go to the world of Major League Baseball.
God.
Instinct to left. It's 700. Albert Pujols.
Yeah, what a play! Stop it! Yep.
And Alonso cracks one of the Mets win the ball game. Out of sight. And it works at 100 miles an hour. 14 strikeouts.
Throw deep to left field. There it goes! See ya!
right. So, like I said, unfortunately, wasn't the best weekend in Major League Baseball for both the Yankees and the Mets. But let's start with the good. And the good was Friday night. And it was a picture-perfect night in the Bronx. So, great to be there. Had a great time, with Mark, Corey, and Mike. First time sitting in the Delta Sky Suite section, which is just awesome. And I wasn't sure like what it exactly was, until I, obviously had done it for the first time. So basically, there's a few sections of seats that are tied into this one area, obviously called the Delta Sky section. And they have like 3 bars and a bunch of different food options, not all of them that, you normally get, around the rest of the stadium. And
what was special, dude?
So, well, one thing, like they do have it in I think it's the 300 section, but they had it there was the Colony. So tried it out. The Hot Earl.
Really, dude?
Yeah, it was really good. So had the sausage and peppers. And then they also let you get unlimited, obviously I just have water, but, fountain soda, popcorn, peanuts as well. Which is awesome.
Sick,
so, went back and forth a couple times there.
Popcorn.
Had the Mr. Softy vanilla cone, waffle cone.
Whoa,
that was great. That was great with the rainbow sprinkles. So, really cool area. And they have a bunch of seats inside, a couple seats outside. We didn't get a chance to sit in any of those because, a lot of people were sitting there. And then our seats were right outside of that. So, it was just like a great view because it's like, second level. Sometimes like that's even really a better seat than the first level because you're just up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you can, kind of see out. So the seats were unbelievable. The weather was great. And Max Fried was great, honestly.
Yeah, dude.
And, we really held Tampa down here. I mean, you only let up 1 hit the entire game. And Max Fried, gave you 7 shutout innings. So that was really, he's been that good that is, what I anticipated, going into this start. So he throws 92 pitches over 7 innings, the 1 hit, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. His ERA is at 101.
Wild.
Just could not be off to a better start. You never know how things are going to go. You sign a free agent and with the largest pitching contract for a left-hander in Major League history, $218 million, 8 years. So, and especially with the Cole injury, he's just been everything you've needed to. So that was great. And then the bullpen was great, and it was nice to see Devin Williams. We were so nervous seeing him come into the game. You're like, are you kidding me? Fried only has 92 pitches. Maybe he could pitch the 8th, and we'll just have Luke for the 9th. But Boone, I guess, wanting to instill some confidence into Williams. He goes 1, 2, 3 and only throws 8 pitches, 7 strikes. So one of the rare, quick, easy, stress-free innings for him. So it was nice to see that. And then Luke Weaver, like he does, every time he's in, I think this is now 15 straight innings, without allowing a run to start the season.
Dialed in.
I think it's some stretch where it was like going back to the ALCS last year. He's faced like almost 70 batters and has only allowed 5 to reach. It's just like some crazy stretch that he's had. So it was great to see him close it out. The pitching really stepped up, like I said, only allowing the 1 hit because the offense, the only source of offense was a Paul Goldschmidt 3-run homer in the 5th inning. So you really needed that. You only had 6 hits overall as a team, 6 hits and 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, but Goldschmidt, 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Judge was 2 for 4, and then the rest of the team, was 2 for 22. So,
oof.
Just obviously that's kind of the theme of the weekend, that you need the whole, lineup, to be contributing, to win, because they're not always going to be carrying the load every game. So, that was great. We finished off the night well with a nightcap at Billy's, high energy. Even, when I was mentioning that you and Matt met Keith McPherson, that was awesome to run into him. He's at so many Yankee games. So was Rob. We just happened to see him, crossing the street. He's a really cool dude. So good to talk to him. And, his show on WFN, I always enjoy listening to. on the weekday nights. I think it's like 7 to 12 typically, but he does a good job.
Nice guy?
So, yeah, real nice guy,
Yeah.
honestly.
Was he drinking?
Yeah, he was sipping.
Yeah, he was sipping?
Corona. He had a Corona.
Oh,
at
okay,
least.
classic.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
So good to run into him. I definitely want to give his show, a call in at some point this week. So,
was he mobbed over there and able to chill in Billy's?
Yeah, we saw him like on the road, so it was before he was in the midst of everything. But then he was kind of walking around talking to different people.
That's pretty sick, dude.
He even introduced us to the owner. That was really cool as well. So, yeah, it was just an awesome night, and a great way to, you would think, set the tone for the weekend. But unfortunately, in terms of the Yankees this weekend, that was definitely the high point of the weekend. And then, of course, so we get to Saturday, and luckily, fingers crossed, it doesn't appear to be anything serious. But Clark Schmidt scratched from his start.
I fucking picked him up, dude.
So, yeah, I'm sure you're aroused to see that. Some side tightness apparently will pitch tomorrow for a scheduled start, if there even is a game, because we know the rain today and tomorrow is supposed to be relentless, for the entire day. So we had to go with Ryan Yarborough, in a spot start. And, I mean, he actually pitched, pretty well. This game, like really
4 innings, 1 hit, 1 run.
A lot of games that we've seen where they haven't won, it's, it comes down to the offense. And, just for whatever reason, the bats, struggled on Saturday afternoon. And it was another great day out, so it wasn't like it was a weather situation like yesterday. But you look at the course of this game, and the Yankees only 2 runs on 5 hits. And again, we talk about some of the main guys contributing. You had Judge 2 for 4 with a homer, Wells 1 for 4 with a homer. And then, the rest of the lineup again, 2 for 24. So you just need, more consistency. And the Rays seem to always do this to us, even though, if you look at their numbers, their pitching hasn't been great this year, but for some reason they always seem to pitch well against us. I'm sure it has something to do, with the analytics. And, what was tough besides that, you felt like, you were already starting, behind the 8 ball here with Clark not pitching, going to Yarborough. Late in this game, actually when the Rays ended up taking the lead in the 8th inning, Anthony Volpe diving for a ball down on the ground afterwards. And I guess he said he felt a pop in his shoulder, which is obviously never a good thing, but, expected to be okay. Didn't play yesterday. And actually, that was on that play was an error that resulted in the Rays scoring 2 runs that inning. So it was a shame. And, that ended up ultimately being, the difference in the game as they, fall 3-2. And Mark Leiter, who had been great, all season, only able to get 1 out, giving up 2 hits and a walk. The difference in the game here. It's a shame because, like I said, the rest of the pitching, really did well. You mentioned Yarborough, the 4 innings, only allowing 1 hit, 3 walks, and 2 strikeouts. Ian Hamilton striking out 3 in an inning, and then Fernando Cruz, who's been nails, 1.45 ERA this year, also gave you 2 innings, and Tim Hill gave you 5 outs, but it just wasn't enough because offensively, let's face it. I mean, you were stifled by the Ray pitching, and Zach Latello. So even after going 7 innings and giving up 2 earned runs, his ERA is at 4.61 for the year. You only got 3 hits off of him. And then, between Clevenger, Uceda, and Fairbanks, they pitched the final 2 innings scoreless. And this is a game where you only had 5 hits, but you only struck out 4 times. So just a lot of weak contact. And when you're going to get pitching like that, especially in a game where, your starter's scratched at a moment's notice, you go, with basically an opener because Yarborough, isn't, ready to pitch, 80, 90 pitches. No. And you only give up 3 runs, really won the entire game. And the bullpen, kind of has a blow-up spot there in the 8th inning. But it's just a game you should win.
It is.
And we've seen a few of these games this year where, they only need a run or 2 in the 9th inning, and there's just no type of rally. And unfortunately, that carried over to yesterday. And yesterday was tough because just like today, you look at the forecast, not much optimism in the air. So just going to the game, I was saying, like, I really don't think we're going to play this. And even though scheduling was tough because, they only have a 4-game set in August where they're going to try to travel to Miami that weekend. So, you really didn't want to add a 5th game, and then obviously the forecast the next 2 days. So you really wanted to get this game in, and to my surprise, it was only delayed about a half hour. So we had a 2:05 first pitch, and you had Will Warren and Taj Bradley, who's just had our number. Even though his numbers for the season 4.43 ERA, but his ERA against us, I know for his career is under 2. But the whole thing here was Will Warren just was not good again. Couldn't go 5 innings, 4 2/3, 7 hits, 5 runs, now 3 earned. So he did have some defensive woes that, did him in. 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. But yeah, I mean, the errors were not good. Oswald Peraza had a big error that led to some runs. And then JC Escara had a catcher's interference. And then, to top it off, you're making a lot of errors. You gave up 16 hits to Tampa. I mean, this is not exactly Michael. Murderer's row, when it comes, to the Tampa Bay Rays. So to give up 16 hits, 7 runs, it was a shame because you actually, you did, better than you had the previous games on offense. Obviously, a lot late in the game, 5 runs, 8 hits. But to give up 16 hits, I mean, just unacceptable. And they actually ended up bringing Carlos Carrasco out of the bullpen. And I guess with the off day coming up Thursday, they're going to skip his start. So he gave up 2 more runs, which unfortunately was the difference in the game out of the pen. He did go the final 3 innings here. So, it was just a shame. You had opportunities, 7 left on base, 4 for 11 with runners in scoring position isn't bad. I mean, that's actually over 330, but it's still, even though the average is good, there were still just so many times where it's like a little single here, a little single there, and you just weren't getting it. In a day where, you had 8 hits, you also had 7 walks, and you just, weren't able to do anything with them. In another day where the top of the lineup, we had heavy production, 2 for 4 for Grisham. Judge had a double, 1 for 5. Bellinger hit a 2-run homer. He was 1 for 4. Goldschmidt 1 for 3 with an RBI. And Jason Dominguez also 1 for 3. But, then once you get past the top 5 in the lineup, 6 through 9, you only had 2 hits. So you need more from the bottom. And I thought it was a very odd situation with Pablo Reyes getting the start. And then you're also not playing, Austin Wells or Ben Rice in a game that you needed to win the series. So, and Vivas would, late pinch hit and actually get his first career hit, a 2-run double. So that was great to be there for that. But it's just Pablo Reyes needs to be designated for assignment. I know, LeMahieu should be coming back soon, so maybe they're waiting on that. But it's just a waste of time to even play him. And I just don't know how you don't play Ben Rice in a game where, you had a right-handed starter. It just didn't make sense. I mean, you only have so many guys right now that are producing. And I think you got to play those guys every night. So I just didn't think that was the best lineup. So combination of a few things here. Obviously, the defense wasn't great. You need better. And then, Will Warren just has to be more competitive out there. It's just, his ERA now is at 5.65. And especially with, Carrasco, let's face it, not pitching well, you gotta leave Warren there in the rotation. And I've mentioned it before, I hope that they end up, giving Cam Scheffler an opportunity because, how could it not be better than what Carrasco is doing for you?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of tough. But nevertheless, you got 3 games here with San Diego. We'll see what happens with the weather, being that, they're only going to be here, of course, once this year. They're going to try to get these games in. So what I would say is maybe tonight ends up turning out like yesterday where, you have a period of time where the rain's going to stop and then it's only going to be light rain. Maybe you get it in. I mean, obviously just looking at the forecast, it is similar to what we saw yesterday and they did end up playing. But my kind of thought would be, between today and tomorrow, they're going to try to get in one game and then a doubleheader on Wednesday where, the weather looks pretty favorable. Looks like some early rain will give way to partly cloudy skies. But yeah, you got to get this series in. And I know you're going to be facing Nick Pivetta, Dylan Cease, and Michael King, I believe. Dylan Cease has not pitched well. I have him on my fantasy team. I think his ERA is in the 6, but Michael King and Nick Pivetta have been lights out. I mean, not that I think the Pivetta thing is, a
spark in the pan.
Yeah, what is that? Flash in the pan.
Flash in the pan. That's what it is. Yeah,
that's what I was looking for. So,
oh man.
But yeah, listen. I mean, you didn't want to win this series. Fortunately, Boston has dropped the last 2 as well, so you still have a 2-game lead in the division. So I know, and I get it, but you just see it all over, whether it's in group chats or people on the local radio is kind of singing the blues. And you just have to move forward, especially yesterday, because I feel like the whole thing is, I mean, we need to upgrade the starting pitching because I felt like, you hit enough to win this game. And really, your bullpen, your top guys especially have been lights out. So I think, you're gonna be all right. But it's, you've dropped the last 2 series. So now it's just like, okay, like time to get back on track. And, I think that the common thing is you need, the guys at the bottom of the lineup to produce, and let's get the unserious players like a Pablo Reyes, off the roster. And hopefully, even though, he had been inconsistent so far this year, hopefully Volpe back in the lineup because, I mean, there's a big difference with him and Oswald Peraza, making that error yesterday. I mean, if Volpe was there, he probably makes the play. So there were just a lot of things that, could have resulted in better results. So, let's see what happens today. If we do get the game in today, it will be Pivetta versus Rodon, and Rodon has been great his last few starts. So you just got to hope Yankee offense will be able to come through against Pivetta, who has been great, 5-1, 178. But it's a right-handed pitcher. Obviously, there's a lot of lefties in this lineup. Padres are a good team though, 22-11. So time to get the job done. We'll see. But at the end of the day, we're 34 games into 162. So there's just a lot of way to go. And you just want to see good results this week. So, we'll see what happens. I got a couple comments here.
Actually
serious or more?
No, yeah. Ernie said that they moved Lombard up
to AA. Corey, we were just texting about that. I think he's arriving in Somerset this morning.
Corey's got to be hyped
on the road, but yes, Corey's hyped. I saw they're playing in Akron, so I would imagine he's going there, kind of get all this stuff, and then they'll probably send him to Akron.
Does Corey travel?
So he's basically at home most of the time. I'm sure like there's certain situations where they need him to travel, but he's mostly there, for the home games.
That's pretty sick.
Lombard's been killing it in single A, and I was just saying, because you know how the Yankees are with bringing up prospects. It's like I just hope that he like kills it where like they give him no choice, because I know in their mind it's like, oh yeah, maybe next year we'll bring him up, but it's like if he hits, why wouldn't you just bring him up right now? No, we need Pablo Reyes up there. We need it. So.
Sure.
What else we got though?
Earlier on, we had Jay Bird talking some shit. I guess Chili's better than Applebee's. Buckta gets crazy. Obviously, pro Applebee's here, says Jay Bird. You don't know the real meaning of chain restaurants, and that's really basically it. I mean, Ernie's asking how. Buckta's asking how Ernie's wife is. Ernie says she's good. She doesn't care about Buckta anymore. She knows about you. And then Buckta excited the late night contact will be able to continue.
Oh my God.
And hopefully, relationships will stay strong here.
Yes.
As we continue with the late night contact.
We don't have to talk about Ernie in the doghouse.
Exactly, dude. And then Jay Bird, which could be a great segue here. That the Mets have lost their 34th game of the season for 15 seasons in a row.
It's a lot of trying to prove his worth.
Well, no, now he is. Well, yeah, I mean, you're challenging him, dude. Like he's got it, right? I mean,
I feel like you texted him before the show to say this.
No, I do. I definitely do.
Why are you smiling?
Jay's his own man because it's so funny.
I mean, that's like really digging for it. That's something ESPN stat and information. Like you think you would get it from that department.
I honestly I am curious to see where he found that stat.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's pretty wild.
He just happened
Like,
to see it on Twitter and
probably, yeah.
acting like he worked for it. But that being said, Tony, similar weekend for the Metropolitans.
Yeah, dude, actually, pretty crazy parallel,
dude. The parallel.
Here.
So close, but yet so far.
Yes, a nice little series, St. Louis, dude, Busch Stadium. Yes, dude, the fun. And it was fun, at least partially here, as we do get to the Friday game here, just like the Yankees was the one win of the weekend. 9-3 victory, which was pretty emphatic. Clay Holmes on the bump. I think also surprising a lot of Mets fans and perhaps Yankee fans here. He goes 6 innings for the second time this season. Gives up 8 hits, 3 earned runs, but there is 3 Ks and obviously does work pretty efficiently through these 6 innings pitched. Only 92 pitches were thrown. His ERA now is down to a 2.95, Brian. So pretty impressive amongst the impressive rotation that we've had, right?
Yeah.
That you could say so far up until this point. And the scoring came on pretty early here. McNeil grounds out, fielder's choice, second inning. Great job. And from then on, it really was kind of just a snowball from there. They go up 2-0 earlier on. Alvarez, a couple good hits. To kind of continue, honestly, his hot bat here, which was great. Third inning, he does, I forget who tries, I want to say Stott goes to steal third, and he, absolutely nowhere near third base. Vientos, totally in front of him. Almost as the runner. Almost as the runner, honestly. He was sliding in. And then he scores in the throwing error. So, Alvarez, as we've seen in previous years, sometimes behind the plate gets a little tough around the edges in terms of throwing players out. But other than that, he's been great. I know he gunned someone down in the prior series, stealing second. So he's been fine. Bullpen came in. I guess, obviously, the bullpen that's seen some woes.
The clarity.
Bless you, dude. Mendoza chooses to go to Buteau here in the 7th. Actually pitches the 7th and the 8th here. There was 26 pitches, gives up only 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 K. Totally clean through those 2. And at this point, it's a 6-3 game, so nothing's really out of hand, I suppose. But 7th inning, Nimmo tacks on a homer. That was his 7th of the season. He was kind of heating up a little bit. That made it 7-3. Alonso had homered, by the way, 2-run homer earlier in the 5th. But in any case, dude, Stanek, who's probably someone the Mets fans have been looking at up until Friday night.
Jay's been looking at him.
Yeah, well, yes, of course, Jay's looking at him as well. Yes, of course, dude. But up until Friday night, Stanek, 3 appearances, 2 blown saves, and a loss.
The previous 3 appearances.
Yes, okay. Up until that point. So, again, to see him come in, obviously you have the lead, less pressure, but it was 1 inning. It was 3 up, 3 down, retires a side, gets a strikeout, looks better, which is good. I had mentioned, those last 3 outings were not good. He was losing games, against Arizona for us, really. Or at least part of it, I should say. In any case, though, the 9-3 victory, you feel pretty good. Alvarez comes in 3 for 5 with 3 ribbies on Friday. His bat was hot. I mentioned Nimmo with the dinger. He was 3 for 3. Alonso 2 for 2. Soto was 2 for 5 with a double, I believe. Lindor was 1 for 5 to lead off. So, again, as a team, you had 17 hits. So, that was great. A lot of team hitting. You were 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position, which is solid. That's great.
400.
400. So obviously, when you think about the team, how they've been doing so far, amazing. Because I think they're probably somewhere around 240 or 233 with runners in scoring position as a team. So great all-around win. Sonny Gray gets popped around a little bit, 4 to third, 4 earned runs, 9 hits, Brian. So I'm sure it was nice for you to see Sonny Gray get knocked around a little bit.
There you go.
Saturday, the rain. Game gets postponed, so the classic double header on Sunday, which was tough. Given especially again, we've talked about going into this series, the bullpen needs more rest. They've overused a lot. Doubleheader on Sunday is definitely not to your benefit. Mets call up Braid Tidwell.
27th, man.
27th man.
Yes.
Correct, dude. And he gets his major league debut. It was not good. 3 2/3, 9 hits, 6 earned runs, 3 walks, 2 Ks. Only 1 home run, but still 82 pitches over those 3 2/3. Could not figure it out. The runs came pretty early and often, and honestly, I mean, not for nothing, Nimmo starts off this game with an RBI double to put them up 1-0. So I kind of thought like maybe Blade, who, I think impressed a lot of people in spring training. I think his minor league numbers have been solid, but obviously it was the spring training that, I mean, at least I saw most of them and
Put him on the map.
Yeah, put him on the map, exactly. So he definitely struggled. Honestly, like really all around. I don't understand. I feel like he just had too many pitches he was going to. Like it was too much for him.
Yeah.
Changeups, sliders, sinkers, fastballs, and the fastball was all over the place. We saw him throw a fastball, bless you, dude.
Thank you.
As high and fast as 98. And then towards the third inning, I think he was so gassed, it was like 92.
And was it probably also, it wasn't too fast and it probably was too high. I mean,
yes.
Control.
The control was not there, dude. Yeah. Sliders weren't breaking as much as he wanted him to. Sinker was good, I would say. So I think maybe just nerves or whatnot, but I think working with Hefner a little bit, because I think this kid, again, spring training was good. The minors are good. I think he can take that step. I think he just needs, maybe to just get more major league innings underneath his belt. But, at this point, certainly the Mets are really feeling the effects of not having Montas and Manaea right now in the rotation. In any case, by the time that he's done with his outing here, it's 6-2. So, Mets are trying to come back. Thankfully, do use Cabrera, Brazoban, Warren, no relation to Will, and then Reed Garrett. 2 hits between those 4 bullpen pieces. They pitched 4 1/3 innings. Obviously, really locked it down. Gave the Mets an opportunity here to come back, and they kind of do a little bit. You go on top of the 6th here with bases loaded. Bless you, dude.
Need some Allegra.
Would you take anything or not?
No, I have before, but you know what it is? It's like I'll sneeze these a couple times and then I won't sneeze till 7 o'clock.
Right. Yeah. Was this weekend okay for you with allergies?
Like nothing crazy. Like, oh, sneeze here, sneeze there. Right. You know what it is? I usually don't have like anything. So anything seems like a lot.
Yeah. Wow. Must be tough for you.
Just saying. Good immune system.
So in any case, we had a scoring error here, or an error in the field here. I think it was by Newbar in the outfield. I forget, to be honest. But McNeil's able to score, makes it 6-3. Top of the 8th, also Lindor. Bases were loaded. Ropes a single to right. Acuna, McNeil scores, makes it 6-5, dude. Unfortunately, it was not enough. As we go, obviously here, you want to break down this inning. Oh, hold on. Sorry, I lost my spot here. After Lindor, Soto gets walked. So you have bases loaded, 1 out. Alonso strikes out. Nimmo flies out. That's the end of the inning. And then you weren't able to get anything going in the 9th. So
in the
9th, dude. So kind of tough. You thought maybe in the 9th, Vientos gets a leadoff single. You can kind of get something going. They pinch run Marte for Vientos. Which I guess is okay. He ends up moving to second, I think, on a wild pitch, I believe. But Torrens strikes out on a 4-pitch at bat, swinging at a slider, which was kind of close to the middle of the plate. I don't know. He just missed it. But still, at that point, runner on second, 1 out. McNeil pops up. Acuna pops up. So, again, those 2 innings, you have a runner in scoring position with 1 out in the 8th and the 9th, and you're not able to do it. It's tough because obviously the blade start not optimal. Bullpen can lock it down. It's one of those games where you feel like you should have won.
I think it's saw the same thing with the Yankees. Anytime there's that opportunity, less than 2 outs, runner and score, you don't score. I mean, how many times do you end up needing that?
Yeah,
a lot,
every time
right?
almost, dude. I mean, I get it. In this instance, you had an opportunity in the 8th to tie it, and then you would have another opportunity in the 9th to win the game.
Yeah.
So again, pretty wild. Or put yourself in the lead at least. In any case, tough loss, 6-5. You move on. Game 2 of the doubleheader, which was, I think game 1 ended probably around maybe 3:30 or something. Next game was at 6:15, which I feel like they would have. I thought they were going to play quick, like sooner. Don't they normally wait like 45 minutes or something?
Yeah,
or?
well, it depends how they do it. Like, I think they did it as a split admission.
Oh,
I would
that's probably
think,
why,
right?
yeah.
Otherwise, it's always immediately following single admission.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You're probably right. So get everyone out, clean, get the people in, whatever, dude. In any case, you move on to game 2, which is unfortunately another super tough loss here. They dropped this game 5-4, lost the series. And you had the Tyler McGill start here, which also did not do great for you. 5 innings.
He had been pitching very well.
Very well up until yesterday. But 5 innings pitched, 4 earned runs, 3 walks, gets 6 Ks, but almost gets run out of the building here, to be honest. Not great. ERA, because it's been so well, does balloon up to a 2.5. But, obviously he's been good otherwise. But still, I mean, an untimely bad start by him. Another pitcher, I feel like just location wasn't there. It was just one of those days where it just didn't have it, I guess. Gives up a home run earlier on to Burleson. It was a 2-run shot with Arenado on the bags here. Made it 2-0. And the Mets honestly come right back here. I mean, Alonso, RBI single to score Taylor. And then they start tacking some runs on here in the third. Marte with a 2-run single, made it 3-2. They get the lead, which was great. And then Alvarez, another RBI single attacking on, makes it 4-2. But then again, McGill comes out in the third and just does not, like, the location's not there. Gives up a single or walks. I think he hits Wynn, gives up a single to Nootbaar. And Arenado reaches on infield single at third here. Makes it 4-3 just like that because he scores Nootbaar. Contreras RBI single, make it 4-4. So you're just letting, you're opening the door for the Cardinals to come back here, limit the 2-run lead. It's 4-4 for a while. Stott doubles in the 6th to make it 5-4, and that was it. Another game here where your starter kind of fails you. Kranick, Stanek, and Diaz, they pitched 3 innings, each getting an inning apiece here. Gives up 5 hits collectively, but only 1 earned run off of Kranick. I think it was a solo shot. I forget, but in any case, the bullpen kind of locks it down for you yet again. And yet again, Brian, in the 4th inning, what do you know? Bases loaded, 1 out. Vientos strikes out. Nimmo lines out, I think, to center. And then that's the end of the inning. And then you're wasting another opportunity there with runners in scoring position. You were 3 for 11 with runners in scoring position, which, again, I guess is somewhere right around where their yearly team average was so far. But again, that's really what kills you. So situational hits where you do have runners in scoring position. You get 10 hits collectively as a team, only score those 4 runs. I know, again, another game where your starter, like I said, didn't really give you his best start, but you still had opportunities on offense to win this game.
And it's so hard, and I know you know it just as well as I do. You just get so frustrated because that's going to happen, but it just sometimes it feels like it could be so much easier. And then I think we all get in this mindset too, where we think that every other team takes advantage of the opportunities more so than we do.
Yes.
Is that thought kind of like popping
Absolutely,
in your head?
dude. I mean, if you look at some of these numbers for the weekend against St. Louis here, Lindor in the weekend, 3 hits, 3 RBIs. Alonso had 5 hits with a homer. Alvarez, 4 hits, 4 ribbies. Nimmo had 4 hits. Okay, Acuna had some great situational hitting himself. Game 1, 3 for 4. His average has been 313 now. So you have these players who are bullpen on the weekend. 10 innings pitched, only 8 hits given up, only 1 earned run, 2 walks between those 10 innings and all those bullpen pieces. I mean, your guys are out there they're having good lines. Like all the again, starters not great, but the rest of the team was picking it up for them, and then unfortunately, you just could not score when you had those opportunities, when you had those bigger opportunities later in the game, which is unfortunate because obviously St. Louis, up until again this series, you'd swept them earlier this year. So it was a team that, obviously you can beat, and you just were not able to come up big with runners in scoring position. It was probably the biggest thing, I guess. I mean, listen, Blade comes up, doesn't have a great, debut as a pitcher. That's like every pitcher almost, like how often are you going to get a guy who, comes up and throws, 6 inning, a quality start? It's very hard to do that. And, I mean, not for nothing, like St. Louis, they do have some better hitters. Contreras had a great series, even though his years kind of sucked. But, Arenado a couple of hits. So, it is kind of tough, I guess. But he's got to chalk it up to, a series loss, whatever. You got to go to Arizona now, which, I guess it's a little unnerving because that was last weekend. That was the Stanek blow-up spot. You blow the 6-run lead as a team. You drop the series because of it. So I think, the Mets are coming in here and, trying to get some revenge. Thankfully, hitters are hot. I mean, Alvarez has been great since he's been back. Soto in his last 7 games has 8 hits, 2 RBIs, the home run, 2 doubles as well. So, the bats have been hitting. It just unfortunate that some of these things aren't falling into place. But hopefully, you get a Stanek that was, reminiscent of yesterday or Friday against Arizona, not the Stanek we saw against Arizona last weekend, I guess it was. So I believe you get Canning on the mound today
versus Nelson.
Nelson, dude.
How many times has there been games between 2 Reens?
Dude, it's a great question, honestly. Literally.
I've never heard of another Reen ever.
No, never, dude.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
It's a made-up name.
So it really, R-Y-N-E,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Always thought it was Ryan Stanek, by the way, too, until the Mets got him.
I know, pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But in any case, Canning's been lights out so far in this series on the year. So you anticipate, hopefully, I know it's like you said the same thing about McGill, whatever. But hopefully, it does, kind of keep up here. You look at his numbers on the season so far, though. 4-1 record, 2.61 ERA, a whip of 1.39. So pretty solid here. Last time out, 5 innings against Washington, 4 hits, no earned runs. Before that, took care of business against Philly. So obviously hasn't seen the Diamondbacks yet this season. But again, that's a guy who's one of the not a great pitcher last year and trying to be a great pitcher here. Then you have Peterson, Senga, respectively for Tuesday and Wednesday. So you feel good. I mean, obviously D-backs do have some good bats that we obviously were victim to last series, and we get Gallen, you get Kelly. To start Tuesday, Wednesday as well. So the pitching matchups, I mean, it could be tough, dude. I know Gallen's had a pretty solid year. I want to say his ERA maybe around a 3, low 3s.
No,
is it higher up?
In the 4s because it was
really?
in the 5s when you guys faced him last week.
That's wild, dude.
Yeah.
I know I picked him up for I think a start this past week, and it was solid.
It's just one of those things.
Yeah,
it's crazy with our league too being the 8 people. Like just everybody's available. Like I just picked up Tanner Scott. Like how is Tanner Scott?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And Willie Adames just picked him up right now as we're doing this.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, like
kind of like
people though.
Kind of like I'm at a disadvantage. Like I'm like on the show working. Like you're on.
You could have checked this morning. I thought this morning. Wake up, check everything, right? Or
nah, I typically do, but the Mondays, the monogamy dudes. Tough dudes. Gallen, by the way, against the Mets this year, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 2 hits.
Yeah, no, that was I think that was the finale series.
That was the finale, dude. AK's dialed in, dude. So it's interesting to see if he can stifle the lineup again. Obviously, Alvarez hot. Acuna's been good too. So I don't know. Maybe revenge spot. Hopefully, you can get something going here tonight. Because again, I mean the running scoring position, you want to figure that out, but hopefully, starters will give you a better looks here, and then you don't have to really worry about those tight one-run games. So
right. But
we'll see, dude. Obviously tough, but you're on to the next series here.
Is Jay bugging or no?
Is he in the comments bugging?
No. Well, I mean, he's just nonsense with Michael Bucket like it's Saturday Night Live or something. No, but I just figured. I mean, 2 out of I could just see Jay kind of like getting nervous. Not that I'm saying there's a reason to be nervous, but he's just like into it now.
No, he is into it. You can tell, honestly, by the way he even talks about Stanek. It's like, oh my god, dude. Like, so I guess I'm sure Jay, watching this past weekend, those tight losses. I would say he's panicking, but I would say he's like irking for a win, dude. Yearning for it, dude.
And I think I was going to mention this, and I backed it up looking at the park factor. So Chase Field has a 103 park factor, which is 3rd in the majors, and that measures all ways that offense, is obtained, basically. So Coors Field is 111, Fenway Park 105, and Chase Field actually tied with Great American Ballpark and Kauffman Stadium. So what I was getting at is
3-way tie.
Offense is going to have to win these games, I think, obviously. Like, I don't think Canning is going to go in there and throw 6 scoreless. Seriously, though.
No, I don't think so either. I think it'll be like 5 innings, 1 or 2 earned runs, to be honest. And they probably will be like solo shots or a 2-run homer or something like that. So
bullpen might give up a couple. I think you got to score 5 or 6 to win.
Yeah, I think so, which is doable. Very doable. Like I said, the bats have been hot. It's just about what you do in those situations, dude.
Yeah.
RISP.
Yeah.
So freaking important. I mean, that's really what
Michael Bucket doesn't know RISP.
No idea, dude. But Jay Bird, by the way, says, yeah, with a name like Blade, you got to do better. I guess we'll get to some more comments. My mother says, good morning.
Good morning.
Miss you. We have Amaze in here from Twitch. Says, hey, first time in your podcast. Welcome in. Let us know, what sports teams you follow.
Yeah, let us know how long you've been a Yankee fan for.
Oh,
Come on,
dude.
Tony,
We don't want people to run away, Like,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, dude.
And now you're gonna run away.
And then Buckton wants to know if you watch comedy.
Tony, can you answer for me?
No. Yeah. Well, I will answer, and the answer is no, Buckton. Although Brian has been known to go to a comedy show once every 5 years.
Yeah, once every 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Kevin James, very good.
Yeah,
Very
yeah,
good.
yeah. There you go.
But I say it all the time, Michael, and I want somebody to argue with me on this. How could anything ever be more funny than when it's just organic, when it
That's
just
right.
happens, when, somebody trips over something, something like that. It doesn't have to be some prearranged dialogue, the same jokes we heard 20 years ago, It's just better when it happens naturally.
Completely right, dude.
But yeah, I guess that's where we're at. Do we have picks to update? Or are we updated? What do we got?
I actually was just looking at that. Do have to update.
All right. So just let me know.
So let's look at the Friday games here.
Yankees won, but I probably
You had-
I probably the under, probably because Fried shoving. No,
I have here Yankees over.
I'm surprised with Fried on the hill.
I'm kind of
Shocked.
surprised as well, dude.
Okay, so 1-1,
yeah, it's
questionable
definitely
though.
it.
Probably just bad penmanship on that one.
I don't know, man. It's definitely
we'll
over.
give you the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, boy,
Josh B
dude.
could clip it, but
And you even said over at first, so ha ha ha. And then Giants. Giants and the under.
One.
Oh, there we go.
So that's 3-1.
Yes. And then you had Padres, and the under as well.
So 1-1. So
1-1.
4-2, which is the best 3-game stretch I've had in a long time.
Yeah, it's great, dude. I had Mets in the under, which is also 1-1. And then I had the Sniffles, dude. And then here I have Detroit in the over. So that would be a 2-0 spot right there. Wow, dude, the parallels so far. And then I had the Royals with the under, dude. And the Royals in the other. Wow, what did you know, Brian? A 1-1.
So 4-2.
So a 4-2
No
spot
blood.
as well. No blood spilled. Looks like I'm still in the lead here. I'm going to be 34-26 here. And then you will be 30. Wow, 30-30.
Okay, 30-30, Turney. Come on.
30-30.
Bang! And I do have first selection.
Yes.
So let's do an MLB Monday 6-pack pick segment brought to you by the Hirsch Law Firm.
Absolutely love it, dude.
Yeah.
You have first pick.
First selection.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens with the rain. It's interesting. I was very yesterday. I mean, I said the game's gonna get rained out. We end up playing. I mean, who knows? There might be even a window to play golf later. I mean, they're probably pushing it.
Who knows?
But nevertheless, I hope they get this one in. Otherwise, I'll have another pick for tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, we have to go with the New York Yankees. And pitching wise, Carlos Rodon has been a savior recently. The Yankees have been dying for that, solid pitcher outside of Max Fried. He's provided that, has been, very sturdy the last 3 outings. And I think he continues that here. Bit of a pitching matchup with Nick Pivetta. I think this will turn into a battle of the bullpens. I think Rodon, probably 6 innings, 2 earned runs, maybe striking out 9. And I could see Pivetta maybe matching that, maybe not as many Ks. But like I said, battle of the bullpen. I think the Yankees get to that Padre bullpen. I think it's Aaron Judge. I think it's a 3-run homer. The difference in the 7th inning, Tony. So that would catapult the Yankees to a 5-2 victory. So it would be the Yankees and the under.
Yankees and the under. I guess you write that down, huh, dude?
Yeah. Don't say I said over tomorrow.
No, I won't. It's here. Yankees and under. All right. Look at your jacket. Look at the rain jacket, dude.
Sometimes threads. Sometimes the threads.
Oh, yeah, always tough, dude. I noticed you have like the taped wrist there.
Yeah. Do you arthritis?
You tight it down, dude?
No, honestly, it's just like this. I didn't even have to play. But we want flexibility. Come on.
Exactly, dude. Some breathing room here.
Yes.
You also want some breathing room. The Mets will have some more breathing room after they win the first game of this second 3-game set against the Deanbacks. You mentioned Nelson canning on the mound. Last time Nelson out against the Mets last series, 4 hitless innings thrown. 2 walks, 3 Ks over those 4 innings. Did result in a loss, though, 8-3. Mets were able to get past him, get to the bullpen. So obviously, again, I think it was just one of those series where the Mets bats were ice cold. I think you're going to see a different Met lineup here starting tonight. And I think because of that, maybe Nelson overlooked. Because before that, honestly, he got popped against T-Bay, popped against Chicago. Lasted, opener, 3 innings, whatever, 1 earned run for Milwaukee. So I think the guy is very hittable. 5.82 ERA for the year. I think the Mets get to him early and often, give Canning some breathing room. Maybe he gets into trouble later on, like I mentioned, 4th, 5th inning. He probably will get pulled. Then he comes in for the 6th, doesn't get an out. But then someone like Kranick or Garrett gets out of the inning. But Canning here will have a 5 innings pitched, 3 earned runs. Not great. Like Brian said, it's a hitter's park here. But I see the Mets tack on a few. Give me Mets and the over as they take this game. I'll say 8-4. Mets and the over, Brian.
All right. So for number two, a little bit of a risk here. You wouldn't judge it by the spread, but the Dodgers pitching with Ben Casprius, who I'm actually not too familiar with. I know the numbers have been pretty good, but it looks like he's more of an opener type. Has not gone more than 3 2/3 innings. So it'll be interesting to see how the bullpen game goes. And Sandy Alcantara, can't be pitching worse right now, coming off the Tommy John surgery, trade value plummeting, especially if he keeps pitching like this. A very Devin Williams-like 8.3 run ERA, but you would think he's due. But I still think, the Marlins 13-20, Dodgers -200 at 23-11. I'll go with the Dodgers. I say, unfortunately, because I have Alcantara on one of my fantasy teams, I think he gets knocked around again. Dodger bullpen doing the job, going the distance. And I think the Dodgers end up taking this one, let's say 7-3. This would be the Dodgers in the over.
Next game, we were just talking about Kauffman Stadium.
Park
so
factor.
Let's go there, dude.
Let's score some runs.
Absolutely. I'm going to go with the Royals here. Fade the White Sox. Absolutely here. The Park factor, you said, was tied for 3rd, right? Kauffman?
Yes.
Tied for 3rd here?
Yeah, with the
With
parallels.
the parallels here. Let's go, dude. So let's dial it in here. Cole Reagan's on the bump here. I also have him for my fantasy team, and he's been a shell of what he has been for the Royals his past 2 seasons. Last time out against Colorado, I think he left 3 innings complaining about some, I don't know, whatever. I think elbow or shoulder, day-to-day he was listed. But he's making the start here tonight, as far as I know. And I think he's due for a good one, honestly, dude. It's the White Sox. Give me a break. I think he can get through 6 innings. Maybe they have a quality start, 2 or 3 earned runs. Royals go absolute ham on the Sox, even though Shane Smith has been pretty solid, I guess, kind of pitching out of his breeches. Don't know much about Shane Smith, 25-year-old out of Danvers, Mass. I say this guy gets popped tonight in Kauffman Stadium. I know he's been pretty solid against Milwaukee, 5 innings, 1 earned run, scoreless out against Minnesota. But hey, I think everyone's due here. I think he lasts 5 innings, 4 earned runs. Royals win this game. I'll say 6-3. Royals in the over. Bang.
All right. So I'm going to go with the Cubs. Important series here with San Francisco. Both teams playing well so far. The Giants 22-13 coming off 3 out of 4 at home against the Rockies. The Cubs took 2 out of 3 on the road in Milwaukee, 21-14 this season. Pitching matchup is going to be Landon Raup, 2-2, 5.10 for the Giants versus Matthew Boyd, 2-2, 2.7. Crazy that Boyd, continues to trot out there, 34 years old, doesn't have overpowering stuff, but always seems to get an opportunity and always seems to pitch well. Health an issue. I think he only made 8 starts last year, but had a very good ERA. So give me the Cubbies at home. I like what Kyle Tucker's done with them. 9 home runs so far, hitting .292, really carrying the load. So I think Boyd gives them 6 innings, maybe 1 earned run, and I think they get enough offense here to win 4-1. So give me Cubs in the under.
Cubs in the under. You had LA in the over, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought so. All right, so my third and final here. I mean, we're talking about the parallels, the stadiums, the scoring capabilities. American Family Field also tied for third, right? You said?
I have to check that one. No, because that's Great American Ballpark.
Oh, he's a Great American Ballpark. I
right,
got the
American
American
Field in Milwaukee.
Yes.
26, Tony. So a pitcher's paradise.
Shit.
But honestly, like thinking about that save, doesn't it not feel like that?
Yeah, it doesn't.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I guess hey, we're not in charge of the rating. I guess
96 Park Factor.
96, dude. Well, you know what? Let's still go there. Why not, dude? The Brewers kicking off this one and only series against the Stros here. Ronel Blanco on the bump against Tobias Myers. Myers still searching for his first win of the season. I don't think it's coming tonight, dude. They just dropped 2 out of 3 against the Cubs here. I think Ronel Blanco, another pitcher who's been somewhat of a shell of himself from last season. I think serviceable start. I think the bats are absolutely flying here for the Stros. Altuve, who leads the team, 4 home runs. I guess his 5th. Jeremy Pena, who's been a good fantasy pickup for me a little bit, batting .282, couple hits here. Jordan Alvarez, maybe one goes out for him, maybe a 3-run bomb for Jordan, giving him 21 ribbies on the season. Stros, and the over-under is high, 8.5 too. I guess, you know what, let's look into this fucking stat on the park. Let's go Stros in the under, all right?
And just like that is your Monday 6-pack. And a little bonus question here. So they don't have the minor league parks in this, but if you had to guess, going back since 23, who do you think is last for Park Factor in the majors?
In the majors,
91.
Last at 91.
Coors Field top at 111.
Yeah, that makes sense here. I don't know. Is it Pittsburgh?
No, Pittsburgh is actually 15th.
Okay. Would it be Citizens? No.
Citizens is 16th.
Well, at least I'm consistent, I guess.
Right? Middle of the pack.
Who is it?
Mariners, T-Mobile Park.
Oh, T-Mobile.
And it's interesting.
Dude.
I would have thought Oracle Park was last, but they're tied with the Brewers for second to last at 96. In Wrigley Field, 97. The comfy confines, I thought,
right?
But I guess in the gaps, it's
big, I guess. Oh, yeah. I guess that makes sense.
So
T-Mobile Park.
Yeah,
I guess
be an interesting Monday here at baseball. Hoping to bounce back with some W's.
Yeah.
But let's do an immaculate grid, Tony. I didn't realize we forgot to do
we didn't do it on Friday. No, dude.
My fault.
And
I did just take a quick look here.
Anything good?
And the Yankees are in here, as well as the Cards and the Padres, and we're talking 30 stolen base seasons. I just hope Ernie from Kearney is tuning in from the
for the Padres, we could do Ozzie Smith, dude.
30 steals.
Yeah, they just honored him actually. I guess you could do it for the Cardinals, I guess, right?
Yeah, I would think that it would be less popular
for the Padres. Yeah, they just honored him actually at the beginning of the series. I guess because the Cards announced like another year of their Hall of Famers, I guess, or something like that.
Okay.
Ozzie Smith here, Padres. Bang. All right, 10%.
10%. All right. Yankees Cards. Giovanni Gallegos.
Oh, it's about Giovanni. Gallegos is G-A-E, no?
Gallegos.
E-G. Bang. 0.7, dude.
How about this? And this will be another 0.7. For Yankees Padres, Johnny Brito and J-H-O-N-Y-B-R-I-T-O.
J-H, dude. That's a good one. Brito. 0.4, dude.
How about that, huh?
How about that Johnny Brito, dude?
Center field, let's see, for the Yankees. I guess if you want to just go Aaron Hicks.
3%.
Okay, not too shabby. All right, and then we're going to say first base. How about first base for the Cards? Luke Voigt.
That's a good one. Keith Hernandez. Oh, it's V-O-I-T. Yeah, there it is. 0.9,
How about
dude.
that? How about Padres Julio Franco? He played for the Padres, right?
That's correct. Julio Franco.
What? He didn't?
Are you not seeing?
It's very delayed. Yeah.
Oh, is the TV not on?
No, it's not. I'm actually really excited about this Julio Franco. Like, totally didn't need to put him in there, and it kind of just.
Sorry, Ernie wasn't watching, I guess.
Ernie wasn't watching. Do we go around back channels, or do we just do another one over the weekend? I guess another one over the
Yeah,
weekend.
I mean,
Hopefully
I'm
it's
not
favorable.
the back channel is tough, dude. Oh my god,
I'm really
dude.
tired. That was just I don't know.
Did he really not?
I mean, he definitely did.
I mean, obviously they've never been wrong.
Yeah. Anything good here?
On the weekend here. Hold on, stand by. Threw a no-hitter for the White Sox.
Besides Mark Burley, Chris Sale.
Chris Sale. I mean, that's got to be like. I mean, they're all going to be high though, right?
Yeah.
Like
Hideo Nomo for the
Chris Sale's no.
Chris Sale did it.
No.
You just. I guess we got to do Fridays then.
I guess so.
And this is it, honestly.
Oh God. Only one team, 300 career batting average, less than a 3 ERA, 300 plus home runs career. Let me turn the freaking TV on.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Boy, I thought there was a different one Friday for some reason.
We could do the Friday. No, I think.
No, yeah. Do 761.
761. Okay, yeah, this is a little better here. You see the monitor.
No, but it's all right. All right, so
Giants. Braves.
yeah. Well, I'll just wait till we're tuned in over here. All right, so Cubs, Giants, Moises Alou.
Anything now?
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No?
Cubs,
Oh,
Gi-
yeah.
Cubs, Giants, Moises Alou.
All right, Cubs, Giants. Moises. I think we haven't had his name in a while.
No.
Bang, 6%, dude.
And then second base for the Giants, Tyro Estrada,
Yep, that's a classic one.
bottom left.
4%.
Second base for the
Pirates.
Adam Frazier.
What?
Adama.
Sorry, I'm going too fast here. There it is. I don't know why they pop up before.
10%. All right. And then Cubs, Pirates, Erasmus Ramirez. ARAMIS.
Mm-hmm.
18. All right. Let's see here. So 300 batting season. And then played second base. Want to do Robinson Cano? 6%. Not bad.
Dude.
Just trying to think for the Cubs. Oh, I guess do Sammy Sosa for the 300 batting average. 12%. All right.
12%.
The Rays. I feel like they had somebody win the batting title not that long ago.
Really?
Oh well, Rays Pirates do Austin Meadows.
Oh, nice. Austin Meadows, dude.
Trying to think, did Edwin Jackson pitch for San Francisco?
I don't know.
All right, so the 300 batting average, Tampa. If we ever needed Ernie, just in a pinch, I feel like we breezed through everything else. Because I know, who was it for? Like, obviously, Adames is going to be
Adames,
really
Rosarena.
Rosarena didn't play for the Giants, but did he hit 300 for the Rays?
Oh wait, that's right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, or Rosarena.
Did he definitely? I think he did.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what are our real other options, right?
G-Man? No.
I guess go Rosarena. If it's wrong, we'll just call it a day. Get back out there tomorrow.
Do you want to try T-Bay first? This one, T-Bay Giants, or
who's the? I'm trying to think who the pitcher is. Or
if
player. Oh, Longoria too, but
Evan Longoria.
I mean, I guess just do Longoria. That's really high. So I can't think of anybody else, right?
Kiermaier, no.
Pena, no.
No.
Josh B asking if Longoria hit 300 for the Rays.
That's a good question.
Ernie, must be a hot Monday on the floor.
Probably, right? Weekend off.
Yeah.
You know, Monday's a lot going on, dude. Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
The deals.
Breaking them.
I mean, let's just go Randy, I guess, for 300, and then
Yeah. No. I mean, see if Longoria. No, see if Longoria.
Oh, Steve Longoria, yeah, did it.
Yep.
No,
No,
he didn't.
Okay, so it was a tough grid day. No Ernie.
Friday. Carl Crawford.
Crawford hit 300. Okay. Chris Archer was high there. We had good selections on the other ones, but
Yeah,
that's
not
all right.
bad, dude.
It's all right. We'll
Yeah,
try
what are
again
you gonna
tomorrow.
do, dude?
We'll be fine. That Julio Franco definitely threw me for a loop. But anyway, let's go to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the middle. It's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink Washington made the full split save. Are you kidding me? Turn. Side of the net. Between the legs and they score. Filthy. David Pastrnak. The silver trophy to the Golden Knights.
Ridiculous question. I mean, Tommy Pham or Wendell.
Jeff Neiman.
Jeff Neiman.
BJ Upton.
BJ Upton. Forgot about him.
Yeah, dude.
But all right. It's all right. Anyway, so over the weekend, NHL, we did actually get 2 Game 7s. The Blues had lost on Friday to get to a game, or the Jets had lost to the Blues on Friday to get to a Game 7 5-2. And then Saturday, the Stars, they just have had the Avalanche's number the last 2 seasons. And I guess their coach is DeBoer is 8-0 in Game 7s. I don't know if you saw that one.
I did not see that stat. That's fucking crazy. It makes sense, though.
Dallas advancing here just like they did last year. Ottinger, 25 of 27. And then Mikko Rantanen. How about the hat trick in the closeout game? I mean, against his former team. I mean, you would think that, it comes into question why Colorado got rid of him in the first place.
Yeah, dude. And it's interesting. I think I don't know if it was after Game 5. I think it was after Game 5, maybe, was interviewed about him. And they were like, oh, like, is it like, are you like trying to score more so against the Avalanche? And he's like, no, it's all professional move. It's not exactly how I want it to end up, but, I understand this is professionalism, whatever. But he was out for revenge. I think, dude. I mean, he was out on the ice. Oh man, dude. I mean, that's what a way for him personally to end a series like that, dude. And it is pretty crazy. Avs give up three goals in the third. Like that's or 4 goals in the third. I mean, kind of ridiculous if you ask me.
2-0 lead. 4 straight to end it. Wow.
And if you think about it too, I mean, the first period was mates, goaltenders looking really good. And then, Colorado starts it off shorthanded, gets momentum going, and then it was McKinnon to start the third. Yeah. Like 30 seconds in, he scores. Yeah. His 7th of the playoffs, which is ridiculous. But unfortunately after that, dude, it was, a couple power play goals, Mikko Rantanen, dude, and then his empty netter for the hat trick. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. And I mean, how could you not sit here and be like, that's just like some type of poetic justice? I mean, Rantanen, who even the fan base didn't think he'd be leaving Colorado ever. Guy won a cup title with them.
Yeah.
But obviously, when you have a huge roster like that and you obviously went through some woes that you did, I guess, whatever, they decided to trade him, which was crazy at the time. But great for Mikko, great for Dallas, dude. I mean, hopefully they get, I don't know what the deal is with Jason Robertson, if they're going to get him back for the second round here. But Ottinger is playing some tremendous hockey. And like you said, the stars are coming up, I guess you could say, or their stars, I should say. Like obviously Rantanen paying dividends already, just like that. Wyatt Johnston found himself having a pretty solid series as well. I know it was, game 3 or game 5, maybe Rupe Hintz showed up with a couple goals. It's nice to see some of those guys actually show up in the playoffs for a change.
Yeah, and I have to say, for someone who has not been high on the Stars, I like them in their next series. You're going to be playing the Jets, who advanced by the skin of their teeth, a double overtime victory, against the St. Louis Blues. Lowry, the hero. And this is actually a game that they trailed 3-1 heading into the third period. So Hellbuck, this is tight late, but kind of playing to the mantra, Tony, that he's not the same Hellbuck that he is in the regular season. Obviously, he'll have an opportunity to do so against Dallas, next round. But kind of surprising the way this series went, but new life for Winnipeg.
Yeah, dude. I mean, you got to tip your hat a little bit to St. Louis when they played a really gritty series. And I mean, not to say I called it, but obviously, at home, Hellbuck does perform a lot better, which is pretty wild. He even, got pulled in game 5, dude. I mean, turn on that game Friday night, and all of a sudden it's 5-1 St. Louis. And it's like, what the hell happened, So it's pretty crazy. I mean, just because of that, I mean, the way American Airlines Center has been been bussing, for the Dallas Stars, the green wave, if you will. I mean, how is Hellbuck going to really handle that? Probably not very well, dude.
No.
So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not one to at the start of the series count out Winnipeg, but it's going to be a real uphill battle, I think, against a team like Dallas. And I mean, I know Dallas was the higher seed against Colorado, but I don't know, dude. I mean, a game 7, not to mention, like, you did lose game 5, right, to them, right? Colorado forced the game 7. I mean, that must have felt like a huge win to them, even though you were, seated higher than them. So, obviously it's going to be tough, like I said, but St. Louis played great. I mean, it really is, I guess, an unfortunate end there. I don't want to say Binnington kind of blew it a little bit on that goal to end game 7 here. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like, excuse me, like from pretty far out, dude.
Yeah.
And I know, like, I'm actually just looking at it right now. It's playing on my screen, but kind of that battle in front of the boards. But it's tough. I mean, you would think that Binnington would have had that one, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, good for Winnipeg for overcoming, I mean, some of the Hellbuck woes they've had to deal with.
Yeah.
It was nice to see Nemesnikov, I guess, on the board. Perfetti, who's had some good games, had 2 goals. And I mean, double overtime like that. That is just what hockey's all about, dude.
Yeah.
Like, you love that.
And I have to say, now we're getting to the point where, I mean, we really got some appetizing matchups here, despite, of course, our Rangers not being in it. And, that'll start tonight in Toronto between the Panthers and the Maple Leafs. To me, this has a 7-game series written all over it. Tons of goals all over the place. Florida, the site favorite here on the road, -125. But I mean, do you agree? Is that you think a long, kind of offensive series here coming up, or?
Yeah, I mean, long, definitely, dude. It's crazy. I mean, I guess it really could go either way. I would say it does go 7. I mean, it's crazy. I could see, honestly, the Maple Leafs. It's like
winning, getting over that hump.
They could. They got to be able to handle the physicality of Florida. I think that's what Ottawa did so well against them was to be physical, to get in their faces. And Florida, not for nothing, like, does it better than that. So, it's going to be tough, obviously. I mean, Panthers looked really good against Tampa Bay. To win that series 4-1, right? It was to end it pretty earlier on. Like, a lot of people had T-Bay, like,
winning.
Winning, or at least keeping it close. Like, again, going the distance. So, it is pretty crazy to kind of see how Toronto will adapt. But how Marner and Nylander and obviously Matthews have been playing, I think they're going to be a tougher fight than Tampa was to Florida. So I think it goes the distance. If I had to say, Panthers win this one, and I will say I think game 1 does go to Toronto, though. They're in Toronto. I think that means a lot. And also Panthers. I mean, even though they go down in the first game, they are, no strangers to coming back in playoff series. So, so I would say bet Toronto tonight, but I mean, those Panthers, I would say are probably going to win.
Yeah, no, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but that'll be a good hockey game. 8:00 on ESPN, and then we'll get two really good games tomorrow.
Dude.
Talk about the Western Conference Finals rematch from a couple years ago, Oilers Golden Knights, and then Alex Ovechkin's quest for a second Stanley Cup continues in Washington. That'll be a 7:00 game against the Hurricanes. So exciting stuff there, and then some other stuff here. We had the NBA, over the weekend, a couple game sevens, starting on Saturday. How about the Nuggets? Fire the coach, all of that, the lead in this series, Clippers bouncing back, but ended up winning, game 7 at home by 19, Tony. And really a game where they got, just a balanced offensive output from all of their key cogs. All their starters had at least 16 points, and Westbrook added 16 off the bench. And they take out the Clippers here, who, were a popular, kind of sleeper pick to the finals. But what do you know? James Harden in a game 7, only 7 points, 2 of 8 from the floor. Kawhi was pretty solid. Only 29.6% from beyond the arc. That kind of does them in as Denver hits 37.9, 11-29. And they advance to the second round. But definitely, I think a big surprise for fans of the NBA that the Nuggets, all the turmoil advancing. I mean, that just shows why, talent at the end of the day is always the most important thing when it comes to a team.
Absolutely. I mean, you have Murray having big games. You have the Joker having big games. You could say, I mean, I think Westbrook played really well off the bench.
Ever since he left the Lakers, he's had a career renaissance. Even with the Clippers, he was looking a little better.
Yeah.
The Nuggets the last 2 years.
Which is pretty wild. I mean, I guess good for him, but I mean, obviously it's working a lot for the Nuggets right now. Like you said, the talent pool there is pretty high, and you said too, I mean, in a big spot in a game 7, Harden nowhere to be found. I would say that's your difference maker there, because I definitely did not think, obviously I wasn't dialed into this series, but catching the games, at night with Mike at the Horseshoe on the weekends, whatever. I didn't think the Clippers would lose by that much of a margin,
Yeah.
When you think about some of the crazy buzzer beater games, close games they've had in this series. I mean, to have a game 7 with a 19-point deficit was pretty surprising to me. But hey, I mean, good for the Nuggets. They go on to play the Thunder, right? I guess we'll see what happens there.
Tonight. Second game of that doubleheader.
Wow.
Knicks on at 7. Thunder.
Quick turnaround for the NBA, right, dude?
30.
Yeah.
So they just have the 1 day off there.
Wow.
But that's what happens. You go to a game 7. Thunder will rest it, come off the sweep. And then the other game 7 last night, the Warriors 103-89 over the Rockets, who do not have good history going back to the James Harden days in game 7. So Curry, I believe it was 22 points. And a big second half surge for the Warriors, to take out the Rockets here in advance and avoid blowing that 3-1 margin of in the series here. And Curry 22 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. How about Draymond Green kind of turning back the clock? 16.6 rebounds, 5 assists, and Buddy Hield 9 of 11 from 3-point range. Tony, 9. Pretty impressive. So what do you know? The Warriors hitting 18 3-pointers, shooting 41.9%. Taking out the Houston Rockets here. So they advance to the second round, and they're going to play the Timberwolves. And we had Michael Buck asking about that before, but I think compelling series. And I think it's just anytime you have Steve Kerr, Stephen Curry, and Draymond Green in the playoffs, I mean, it makes for, a threat, especially now that you add Jimmy Butler to that mix. I think that's going to be actually, a compelling series there.
Yeah, true. Any stock in people saying oh wow, even though the Rockets higher seed, I guess. I mean, I think a lot of people had Warriors taking the series handily. Some people, to be honest, any stock in them kind of having to take it to game 7 though, it'd be well.
No. I mean, I think it's just you win, you advance. It's a reset,
Okay.
And I just don't think the Timberwolves play look great against the Lakers. I think just stylistically, I think the Warriors will give them, some challenges. I don't think it's going to be as easy as it was against the Lakers. That's what I'm saying.
So, Western Conference Final, you think it's going to be Warriors
and the Thunder.
Wow.
Yeah. So that would be a good one. And then
yes,
on to tonight. I know Josh B, a lot of the TCA riled
shit.
up, even though very, pessimistic here in Boston. 9.5 point.
Stop it.
Point what? I mean, that's a spread. 9.5 point underdogs in Boston tonight. And, we kind of talked about this a lot, last week. Not many people giving them a chance to advance in this one. But, I mean, do you think it's pivotal, Tony, if they want any semblance, of a chance here to win this series? You got to still game one. Get the momentum going, right?
Yeah.
Got to do it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's going to be really hard, though. But to steal game one on the road would be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
To silence some of those Boston fans, to be able to have that when you go back to the Garden. The fact that you can take one on the road, I mean, it's going to be ever more so of a home court advantage. I mean, I obviously, but I mean,
it'll take a village.
Yeah, I think a whole city, Brian. You think it'll happen? Honestly,
I mean, obviously,
yes.
Basic. No. I'm saying like my prediction is the Celtics will win the series, but that's why I said 39% chance of winning. But I think honestly it's going to be a 6 or 7 game series. But like I said, I mean, you still game one, things can happen. I mean, game ones are so important, in any sport, and specifically with basketball. You think back to a few years, more than a few years back. But the Cavs, that game one against the Warriors, J.R. Smith ripped forgetting to shoot the ball. That changed the whole course of the series. Or think back to the World Series last year, Nestor serving it up to Freddie. These game ones are so important. I know this isn't a championship series, but the point being, Tony, it just sets the tone. And I just think if they could steal one here, you're going to need a heroic effort. I mean, I think you're literally going to need like 70 points out of Brunson and Towns and Mikal Bridges to play like the way he did in, game 6 against Detroit.
You think any chance like Tatum comes out there and blows it?
He could,
because he has done that in the past.
Yeah, he could, and they could be a little fatigued. Long run last year, but we'll see. But if I had to guess, I would say that the Celtics probably win this game tonight. I don't know about 9.5 though. I could see them winning 115 to 109.
Yeah, I can see 5 points, right?
Yeah.
I mean, don't you think 9.5 a little disrespectful to the Knicks right here? Come on,
just
though.
given what happened in the regular season.
Yeah,
0-7 against the top team. So, we'll have to see. But that's 7:00, and like I said, I'm going to be into it. I hope they win, especially if the Yankees get rained out, like I'm anticipating. And then I know I'm kind of jumping around here, but also, I mean, big surprise. How about we got to give it to the Pacers yesterday?
Oh yeah,
taking out Cleveland in game one on the road, stealing one.
Crazy.
I don't know how many people had that one. Expected that happening, but they win by 9 in Cleveland. It is crazy how everything is 9, though, by the way, right? Or no,
no, it is.
It's there. Those are the numbers.
9.
But I was definitely surprised. A Cleveland team that won 64 games. But the Pacers, 19 of 36 from 3-point range, 52.8%. That's how you win a playoff game.
That's right.
I don't think Cleveland's in trouble, but
No.
I think it's pivotal. Win game 2, which I imagine will be on Tuesday, and it is. And then you'll be fine. But I think maybe that series goes deeper. I think that was a series maybe people thought would go 5. Maybe it's going to go 7.
I mean, you just got done talking about stealing game one on the road, the momentum, the this, the that. I mean, it's the Pacers just did that.
Yeah, now you're making them sweat. That's the whole thing. And that's what the Knicks have an opportunity to do tonight. But they need everybody to play a big role. Even some of the guys on the bench, like a McBride, somebody that you're not expecting too much from. So we'll see what they do. And then the nightcap, the Thunder and the Nuggets, Oklahoma City, a 9.5 point favorite here, 226.5. I mean, crazy that these spreads are the same. This one, they're expecting more offense, so 226.5. But I think OKC wins. They might even cover too. I think the long series for the Denver Nuggets here to
Yeah.
come back Oklahoma City. I mean, it's not going to be easy. So I think it goes over, but I think the Thunder win like 120 to like 109, right?
109,
Right?
dude. Yeah, I can see that. Again, like you said, I mean, Thunder well rested. That means everything, especially in basketball, dude.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we got there. And then lastly, on the PGA Tour, Scottie returns, Tony. A dominant performance at the CJ Cup. Byron Nelson, and 31 under par, tying a PGA Tour record of 253. 8 under to close it. 8 shots clear of Eric Van Rooyen. Imagine playing a tournament, shooting 23 under and losing by 8, but that's what happened to Van Rooyen. But a big momentum shifter for Scottie Scheffler, who will be well rested as he looks to win his 3rd career major championship at Quail Hollow in Charlotte, North Carolina. Not this week, but the following, as he is sitting out the Truist Championship, the signature event of the PGA Tour this week in Philadelphia in preparation. What do you think about this move? I mean, he plays this tournament. He's from Texas, so he wanted to do this, and then he skips the signature event. I mean, do you think that gives him any type of advantage? The fact that he wins here too, kind of a confidence booster going into Quail Hollow.
Absolutely, dude. He may be my pick for Quail Hollow, to be honest, dude. Because watching him play, what was it, 31 under?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he had a
61 on Thursday, right?
61 on Thursday. He was 8 under yesterday, I think.
8 under yesterday. Yeah.
Absolutely dialed in. I mean, exactly kind of how we set it up, dude. I mean, you mentioned, grew up Texas boy. I don't know if you saw his post-tournament interview. Had his child, the kids, dude. He got emotional. He got a little choked up. He said, this was his first tournament on the PGA Tour 11 years ago. He's put in so much work. He's got a great career and a family to show for it. Like I said, totally dialed in, gets the first place finish. I think he's tasted what it's like for the first time this season, what it's like to win again. So he dialed in, take a weekend off, spend more time with your family, dial it in, rest up, Quail Hollow. Like, let's fucking go, dude. Yeah, I thought this was a great tournament for Scottie. I say watch out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's dialed, 61, 63, 66, 63. I mean, that's just
unbelievable.
Absolutely ridiculous. So a great tournament for him. And like I said, he'll be well rested. Kind of interesting that we're approaching the 1-year mark of Valhalla, the cuffs, all of that. So I think, Scottie a little less distracted this time. And speaking of that PGA Championship, how about a little confidence booster here? Jordan Spieth yesterday going 9 under 62 to finish a solo 4th place in this tournament, looking to complete that career Grand Slam. So definitely some momentum for Jordan. 9 birdies yesterday, no bogeys on the card. I mean, that's what you want, right? I mean,
that's consistency right there.
Yeah.
You're not really giving up any strokes, which is great. Yeah, I mean, like you said, to see or even have the opportunity for 2 players to complete a career Grand Slam in the same season
after waiting a quarter of a century.
Wild stuff. So, I mean, I think he knows it. We know it. I think he's gonna be playing for a lot in Quail Hollow for sure. Yeah, I would say one of the better case scenarios to be going into it, right? Having the great tournament tied 4th or outright 4th.
And he's going 3 weeks in a row. We'll be playing at the Truist in Philadelphia this week. So we'll see if Jordan Spieth can have another confidence-boosting tournament, maybe even a win. Who knows? And then I was proud to see Sam Burns, who had been struggling on the PGA Tour, Tony, it finished in a extensive tie here for 5th place. Let's see, 3, 6, I think 8-way tie at 5 under par.
Wow.
Or not 5 under par, but 17 under par. So I think that's a very confidence boosting win for Burns, or not win, but finish for Burns, who hasn't won since that last match play championship they had in Austin a few years ago. So yeah, I mean, a lot of scoring here. We're actually going to get 2 events on the PGA Tour this week. They have the alternate event at the Grand Dunes in Myrtle Beach, as well as the Truist Championships. We'll talk about those on Wednesday. But getting close to the PGA Championship, and obviously too, there's the talk of, can Rory, go back to back, and Quail Hollow. I think it's 4 or 5 victories he has there. So, I mean, it is his course. He did just win what was called the Wells Fargo last year. Now it's the Truist. He'll be back there next year. So he's got momentum on his side as well. So I think it just shapes up to be quite the PGA Championship we're going to have.
A great major. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
So, yeah, excited for that. But I think that's really where we're at right now. Obviously, just hoping for some good weather tonight, get some baseball in, maybe the Knicks steal one.
That'd be nice.
And kind of just go from there, right?
Yeah.
I know the Mets, obviously, you want to bounce back as well.
Yes, I do.
Jay nervous about Stanek pitching at Chase Field, the park factor, right?
Oh my God, I'm actually interested to see because I based my picks a little bit around this park factor here.
Yeah.
So let's see if it can stay true,
or I guess you could say pay dividends, right?
Dude. Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to see. But here we are, and another great show today.
It was all right.
Really appreciate everybody who tuned in and continues to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives in the YouTube page, Tony Michael Renee and Jay and Costa, and the merch at DowntimeTV.com. We want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games. Let's go Yankees.
Let's go Mets.
And we will see you mañana.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.